Well, hello there, you beautiful, beautiful, amazing, wonderful people. This is video 2 of 2 on Sunday, and I'm going live later as well, as we will be looking at the new audio released courtesy of Jules of All Trades, or Jules True Crime Reactions, I think it is now, and her kind subscribers who helped assist her in the purchasing of said audio that froze the entire, in my opinion, the entire Brian Koberger situation on its head. But anyway, join me later tonight for that 10:45 p.m. UK time. But in this video, what are we talking about? Yesterday, we did a video that spoke about Charlie Kirk and the possibility that he had faked his death. And I think it was proven, I think it's been proven that there is evidence to suggest that that's what happened. I can't turn round and truthfully and honestly turn around and say that it would be impossible. Absolutely impossible. And I want to be honest, do you know what I mean? If I turn around and say, no, absolutely impossible, couldn't be done, and I'm going to absolutely ignore and call people names who say that, that would be disingenuous of me to do so, so I can't. But there are questions off the back end of that, and that is why? Why would Charlie Kirk do it? How would he do it? Could he have done it? So that's what we're going to just talk about briefly in this video. It's going to not be so long if I crack on and get on with it. But look, first of all, we have to understand, could Charlie Kirk have done it? Could he have done it at all? Did he have the means to do it? And I think it's safe to say, yes, Charlie Kirk had the means. He definitely had the means to do it. He was a multimillionaire. We know that he was a multimillionaire. He had property that was worth money. His partner was worth money. There is money around this guy. And pretty much that's all you really need. And in some situations, you don't really need money either. The only argument here with respect of money, I think because of the way it was done, which is a massive question around this situation, because I thought, well, if you just want to fake your death, why wouldn't you just fake a car crash, for instance? But we're going to get into that later, because when we ask the why would Charlie Kirk even do this in the first place, that's when the how it was done could become important. But did he have the means? Of course he did, because he had money. He had money, and if you've got money, you can make things happen. And that's a fact. But first of all, let's just look at people who have faked their death, because this will answer the whys. Why do people do it? So we're just going to go over to here and just look at the motivation behind some. Like this individual here, John Darwin, done it because he wanted to collect insurance money. So did Charlie Kirk do this so he could claim insurance money? Well, we know apparently that there is life insurance policy worth around $30 to $50 million. That is floating around in the ether. That is floating around in the ether. And you could attach that to other things as we make our way down the list. So could it be that Charlie Kirk did this in order to take in a massive chunk of money and then disappear into the ether like a fart in the wind? Possibly he did. I put to escape prosecution, because this guy here, he was trying to evade a 20-year prison sentence for fraud. Samuel Israel III. We've also got Marcus Schenker. He was a financial manager. He attempted to fake his own death in a plane crash after being charged with defrauding clients. So this guy, Marcus Schenker, with defrauding clients, do we have any indication that Charlie Kirk or his organisation could have potentially been involved in fraudulent behaviour? Well, if we want to listen to the likes of Wolves and Finance, it would suggest that there could potentially be financial fraud implications at Turning Point USA. I'm not saying there is. I'm just saying that there is evidence out there and people saying that there is evidence to support that claim. And we also know, in addition to that we have things like this, which is Tyler Bowyer, which he came out and spoke about the fact that why Turning Point USA couldn't have been involved in Charlie Kirk's death, and his rebut, he literally turned around and said, no, you couldn't, because the UVU camper stop was approved in July. So that proves that they knew where he was going, And people like Candace Owens had turned out and said, no, these have to be done like months and months in advance. But they failed to attach to it. Well, that means that they could have, if they wanted to fake Charlie Kirk's death, then they would have had lots of time to plan exactly how this was going to be done. If this was done right at the last minute, for instance, that would have made this a lot more complex, a lot more difficult. I would say that Tyler Bowyer here, where he says that we couldn't have been in on Charlie Kirk's murder because the campus stop was approved in July. Oh, on the contrary, you could have been involved in covering up his murder because you had plenty of time to plan exactly how that was going to be done, like what hospital he would be taken to, how you would handle the security failings, and literally how they're leaning over Charlie Kirk and seemingly laughing and smiling. Was Charlie Kirk just going, go on boys, go on, yeah, didn't that look good? Do you know what I mean? Yes it did, boy, yes it did, let's get him in the car, get him out of here to the hospital that we've paid off as well, and the doctors we've paid off. Do you know what I mean? It's I know you're tinfoil hatting it at this point, but never say fucking never, because we're going to go on to here as well. Look, we do have other issues like Turning Point executive pleads guilty to attempted election fraud. So this is multiple people. This was Austin Smith, the former director of Turning Point Action. He's been done for election fraud. Oh, and lo and behold, who else do we have? Tyler Bowyer, which I've actually got the court minutes to that were kindly sent to me. So we've got Tyler Bowyer's court minutes here for exactly the same thing, election fraud. So if they're going to be involved in something like this, would it be beyond the realms of possibility that Turning Point USA was involved in some kind of fraudulent activity surrounding money? And what with Neffy Boy coming out the other night and saying, Charlie Kirk, he knew where every fucking dollar went and he signed it all off to the last dollar. To the last dollar. Now, some people point out and said it was quite convenient that you only mentioned dollars, but you didn't mention shekels. Well, they didn't have any shekels because apparently I've been sent them all. That's it, baby. This video comes to you from the purse of Bibi Netanyahu. You know. Woohoo! Fucking morons. But look, so we know that there's activity around Turning Point USA that could have potentially led to some kind of issues, potentially legal action being taken. And if Charlie Kirk weren't as squeaky clean as people want to make him out to be, which some people have quite rightly pointed out, look, CEOs of companies, a buck stops with them. Buck stops with them. Things, especially when you talk about this sort of money. Now, I have defended that position and said, no, sometimes CEOs don't. They have a team, they deal with it, and they don't know. We know that Charlie Kirk, he apparently wanted a Doge-style fucking audit done, do you know what I mean? And then, lo and behold, a few weeks after that, he exit stage left. But was that all part of the plan to make it look a certain way? To, again, throw the scent off? Who knows? You let me know down below. But was it done to avoid some degree or in some way to avoid potential future prosecution? Let me know down below what you think. Is it absolutely 100% beyond the realms of possibility? I don't think so. And I'll tell you why I don't think so. And it's something like, and I've got a lot of time for Charlie Kirk. I didn't agree with everything he said. I've said that consistently, but listen to him every day. But it's his wife that has brought Charlie Kirk into question. And that is Charlie Kirk's wife's behaviour in the aftermath of his death. Now, Charlie Kirk was somebody who, and again, I don't want to sound repetitive, but I know that there's new listeners who come into these videos, so you wouldn't have heard me mention this before. And that is that Charlie Kirk's views around women were very, very traditional, old-school values, do you know what I mean? They look after the children, yada, 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 and they don't pursue CEO-ships and stuff like that, and, you know, that's wrong. You spend time and nourish your children and do all that first and get that done. And Charlie Kirk's wife is a multi-millionaire. She don't need the money, but lo and behold, she jumped straight into his chair. before it's even fucking cold. And I have to then think, hold on a second, that now makes this entire situation with what Charlie stood for and you being the supportive woman in the background, that throws that into turmoil, really. So it makes me think, well, was Charlie Kirk just planting the cameras then? And behind closed doors, it was like, yeah, if I die, mate, you do what I want to do. Chuck the kids to a nanny, let the nanny raise them, you fucking get out there and do every single meeting you can and make sure you push forward with this beast that is TPUSA. Because they've had that conversation, and that to me makes it all seem disingenuous when you're trying to push out that you don't believe that women should go out and really seek work in that field, do you know what I mean, and get and be the business women, the powerful business women. There you go, I'm just being honest. Let me know down below what you think. What else have we got here? There was something else what I said, and that was, okay, so was there political motivation? So was this politically driven? And that's where we now look into the question that I said at the beginning, where we was like, well, why wouldn't he just fake it and say that he died in a fucking car crash? Do you know what I mean? And that means that if you wanted to do that, you couldn't do that if you wanted there to be a political or religious component to it. And the religious component and the political component kind of go hand in hand. And I was looking at this article here, which this is from catholicregister.org. And it says, someone isn't telling the truth. I'm talking about the details surrounding Charlie Kirk's murder. If you've been following the unfolding narratives, very little is adding up. Maybe that's the plan. Plan, you say? Are you a conspiracy theorist, sister? Before we devolve into easy, uninformed name-calling, let's examine the official talking points that are being put out across all media platforms. One of the main problems is that the most basic data regarding the capture of the alleged gunman, security camera footage, alleged weapon, profile of the suspects, the timelines, timestamps are not making sense. There is no smooth, cohesive picture. And it says, but it's still very early, and there's lots of investigating to be done. Yes and no. Authorities are very careful before they release anything to the public. Gun experts and amateurs alike are rejecting every bit of the story about the photographs of the rifle. They're the only ones right now with 100% consensus. Here's the astonishing heart of what's going on right now with the story of Charlie Kirk's shooter. Right-leaning media tell you the young man was radicalised by the violent far left during the past 4 years and lived with his male to female transgender furry partner. Left-leaning media tell you the young man was radicalised by the violent far right during the past 4 years and was an incel, involuntary celibate. There are not just slightly different accounts, they are polar opposites. I have never in my not-so-young life seen such a high-profile news event with such antithetical stories of what actually happened, by whom, and why. We have reached a zenith of algorithms separating us into echo chambers to the extreme that we are now living in parallel universes. Are we witnessing the old divide and conquer applied to our new digital lives? The misinformation, disinformation, malinformation, whatever you want to call it, is reaching dizzying heights. So many versions of each little detail. But isn't this the perfect propaganda tactic? Floods of conflicting information causing mass confusion can push people to either dig into one story or side, or give up trying to figure out things altogether. Let's not forget that the average Joe or Jane who spends significant time online can also possess a kind of media sophistication that makes it hard to pull the wool over their eyes. And what if we have a higher good news source that can be always be trusted and instructs us to what to do, how to think, and how to react in every situation, even if we can't fully discern, try as we might, what the heck is going on. Charlie Kirk's assassination has sparked an apparently genuine Christian revival, a fearless truth proclamation revival, a civil discourse revival. It has been so refreshing and hopefully illuminating to Charlie's enemies that his fans and followers have not responded with violence, anger, and hate. However, I have yet to see even one TikTok, one article, one post saying that we Christians must love our enemies, do good to those who persecute you, which was the gospel reading the very day after Charlie's death. I have yet to see someone declare, we forgive whoever did this. That would be one of the most potent Christian witnesses, even as justice must be sought and administered. And I think this was written before Erica Kirk then went out and actually forgave Tyler Robinson for for doing this. But it was quite interesting that she was pretty much the only one who did. And why would she do it? Why would she do that? Why would she forgive this individual? Now, some people who have got religious backgrounds can make excuses if you want, but it could be that she just knew that he didn't do it. She just knew that he didn't do it. I was pleasantly surprised to see one muscle-bound, tattered-up, patriotic, cowboy hat-wearing influencer not falling for the gender-bender bait-and hating narrative. He was much more circumspect. He refused to jump to premature conclusions or jump on any condemnation bandwagon until we have all the facts and solid proof. I hear this is not as open and shut a case as it is hastily and sloppily being made out to be. Who should we listen to? Reputable independent journalists are doing a great job exposing glaring inconsistencies and impossibilities within the official narrative. Anything media-wise can be faked today. So anything can be faked today. AI, we know AI. And I spoke about that in terms of the Charlie Kirk assassination potentially being faked. We are living in a world of smoke and mirrors and deep deception like never before. Because we have powerful tools of deception like never before, we need not fear the shambolic state of the news media. Jesus told us that everything hidden will be revealed, eventually in God's perfect timing. Keep discerning, keep praying. And there we go. So in respect of Charlie Kirk and his reasonings behind potentially faking his own death, was it to avoid dying himself? Was there a death threat on the cards? There are people who have avoided or tried to avoid being killed. I think I've got that here. This is someone who faked their death for that very reason too. Let's go to full share. This was here. Arkady Babchenko, a Russian journalist who faked his own assassination in 2018 as part of a sting operation to expose an alleged plot against him. Now, is there indicators that could prove or lean into the fact that Charlie Kirk, look, he actually faked an assassination to then look into an assassination attempt that was going to happen? Well, it's been done previously. And if we believe Candace Owens in the fact that she claims that there are people who have put out a notice on her head, then look, maybe there was things floating around to get rid of certain people who were quite influential against a certain entity. And that is what we're seeing here. Who knows? But let me know down below what you think. Again, yesterday we looked at the fact that there is indeed evidence that could support a faked assassination. And Charlie Kirk did have the means and motive and opportunity to do so. They knew that they were going to be at this UVU. They had time, as confirmed by Tyler Bowyer. And in terms of why it could be done, we have multiple things that could point to varying reasons that this has been done in the past, and that is to avoid potential prosecution. Again, we just have to listen to the likes of the aforementioned Wolves and Finance to say that there are things around TPUSA that just could get you in the shit eventually. We know that he was fallen out of favour in certain circles with respect of his support or lack of support and wanting to push back slightly on the Israel situation, or do you know what I mean? It is what it is. It is what it is. And again, the methodology behind it, the timing of it was perfect to be asked the question about gun violence and bang, lights out. Do you know what I mean? You'll just have to let me know what you think. Is it real? Are we just wearing tinfoil hats? Well, I'm wearing a fucking Santa hat because it's nearly Christmas and I'm getting in the mood for Christmas. But yeah, let me know down below. If he did it, why did he do it? What was the motivation behind it? Are you absolutely 100% and on heart positive that he is gone? But I will leave you with this question. Could you absolutely 100%, and would you put your children's lives on it, that he is definitely 100% deceased? Let me know down below. Love you all, and I will catch you all later live. Mwah.